Buenos días, bienvenidos a esta sesión con University of Sheffield. Mi nombre es Carolina Leguizamón, hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo y hoy nos acompañan Ruth Lawener, ella es representante de University of Sheffield para Latinoamérica y también tenemos una invitada muy especial, Irais Baizabal. Ella va a compartirnos un poco de su experiencia. Ella es estudiante, entonces, bueno, más adelante conocerán un poco de cómo fue su proceso en University of Sheffield, con quienes tenemos un convenio que otorga un descuento del 20% sobre el valor de la matrícula para todas las personas beneficiarias del programa Crédito Beca de Colfuturo y adicionalmente dos becas de 7.000 libras esterlinas para dos estudiantes admitidos en la Facultad de Artes y Humanidades, Ingeniería, Medicina, Odontología y Salud, Ciencias y Ciencias Sociales. Es por esto que 51 personas beneficiarias de Colfuturo han viajado a Reino Unido, a University of Sheffield, para realizar sus estudios de posgrado en áreas como ingeniería, arquitectura y diseño, ciencias sociales. La idea de esta sesión es que puedan conocer acerca de la oferta académica, las becas, el proceso de admisión, todas las dudas que puedan surgir durante este proceso de planeación. Entonces, al final, además de la presentación, al final vamos a tener una sesión de Q&A, de preguntas y respuestas. Durante la sesión nos pueden dejar sus preguntas en el chat o al final y vamos a tener un espacio para resolverlas. Recuerden que esta sesión hace parte de una serie de eventos que estamos teniendo durante el mes de agosto, de lunes a viernes a las 10 de la mañana, con diferentes universidades alrededor del mundo que tienen convenio con Colfuturo. Y bueno, muchísimas gracias, Ruth. Thank you, Ruth, and Irais for accepting this invitation. It's a pleasure to have you here, and you can start the presentation.
Thank you, Carolina, and hello everybody. Hello to those who are watching live and hello to those who will be watching the recording of the session afterwards. We're really happy to be able to meet you in this way. Obviously, normally we'd be coming out to see you face to face, and hopefully we will be back in Colombia soon to meet you properly. But until now, we look forward to helping you out through Zoom and telling you a little bit about the University of Sheffield. So my name is Ruth and I look after students coming from Latin America before they come to the UK. So we're going to tell you a little bit about the university today, some of our scholarships, some of our university information that hopefully will be helpful for you. Before we get started though, we are going to have a little video to give you a flavour for what Sheffield is really like. So it's about 1.5 minutes long. I'll play that now and then we'll get started. So hopefully that's given you a little feel for what Sheffield is like. I'll talk a little bit more about it today, and then we'll hear from Irais as well, who can give us the student perspective on what it's really like to study in Sheffield. Okay, so the important question, why would students choose the University of Sheffield? Well, quite simply, we are a world-leading university. Our origins date back to 1828, and we've now grown to having over 29,000 students from 150 different countries. So we're a truly international university. Around a quarter of our student population is from outside of the UK. So you can be assured that there'll be a mix of different cultures and nationalities, not just in the students, but in the staff as well, which gives you that international exposure. We're also a very highly ranked university. So we're currently in the world top 100 as per the QS rankings, and that's something that we're really, really proud of. And you might have heard us mention in the video the Russell Group, and you might be wondering what that is. It's a group of universities in the UK that are known for the quality of the research that they do. So we are a proud member of the Russell Group, and we are known for our world-leading research, which means that you're being taught by academics who are experts in their field. So the most recent Research Excellence Framework puts us in the top 10% of UK universities for research. So we know that when students are coming from master's programs, you want to know that when you do your dissertation, your thesis, you're going to be working with real experts. And at Sheffield, that's something that we are able to offer you. It's also important because it means that what we're doing is recognised around the world, not just in the UK. So another mark of the quality of the university is the fact that we've got 6 Nobel Prize winners associated with Sheffield. So if we have any chemists or any medics in the audience, then you might recognise some of these names. The most famous is probably Baron Florey for his invention of penicillin, which is obviously a medical treatment that's very, very widely used these days. So these are some of our former staff and students that we're very, very proud of. Now, it's not just medicine and chemistry that we offer at Sheffield. We've got a wide range of subject areas. So we have a range of different faculties: science, engineering, medicine, dentistry and health, arts and humanities, and social sciences. And within those, we have around 50 different academic departments. So I've listed some of the most popular ones here, but do feel free to check at the end about your specific subject area, and we'll be happy to tell you what types of things we have available in that specific subject area. But yes, we're very well known for our engineering. Our architecture is very highly ranked. Got some real strong experts on climate change and all the issues associated with that and the various different disciplines. So yes, do feel free to ask us more about your subject area, and we'll let you know what we can offer you in that area. So one thing when you're considering studying abroad is the university, and hopefully you can see that Sheffield is a very good choice for that. But you also want to know, if you're going abroad somewhere for a year at least, that you're going to enjoy your time there and you're going to feel supported there. And one of the things that we're very proud of at Sheffield is that we can offer you a fantastic campus life as well as an excellent academic experience. So we're very proud to have the best students' union in the UK and have had that for the last 4 years. And the Students' Union is something that you'll hear when you're looking at UK universities, because every university in the UK has one. And it's like a building, but it's a lot more than a building. It's where the central services are based, the support services, the extracurriculars. It's a social place to meet your friends between classes. It's like the heart of the campus, everything outside of your studies. So, that's where I say that academically we offer a fantastic experience, but actually outside of your studies, we can offer you a fantastic experience as well. And maybe Irais can tell us a little bit more about her experiences of the Students' Union in a little bit. Now, the city is also a really important factor when you're thinking about where you might want to go overseas. So I wanted to talk a little bit now about Sheffield and why Sheffield as a city is really important as well. So first of all, where is Sheffield? Because not everyone has heard of us. I always think it's because our football teams aren't so famous. But we're based here in the north of England, about 2 hours north of London by train, and about 45 minutes from Manchester by train. So yes, we're in the, it looks like the middle, but we call it the north of England. And we are England's 4th largest city. But as you can see here from our city centre skyline, we're not a big city like London. But actually, we think that's a great thing because we've got everything you want from a city: restaurants, shops, bars. It's big enough to have a lot going on, but actually it's also small enough to be nice and manageable, easy to get around the city. You can see the campus here on the left of the city centre and the train station on the right of the city centre, and to walk across this picture would take you around 25 minutes. Obviously the city is bigger than this, but this is a part that you will spend a lot of your time in when you're a student in Sheffield. You can probably see from the picture as well, we're a hilly city built on 7 hills, and we're also known for being a very, very green city. So you can see here there's lots of trees, lots of green spaces in and around the city, and the Peak District, which I'll talk about a little bit later on as well. One of the other great advantages of living in Sheffield is that it's much more affordable than other parts of the UK. So it's 25% more affordable than London. And actually, some results came out the other day of one of the big banks in the UK, the NatWest. They published their student living index, and they actually published Sheffield as the #1 most affordable city for students in the UK. So that's really nice because you know that here your money will go a little bit further than it might in other cities. We're also a very safe city. So, you know, we are a large city, but we are a safe city as well. So that's can put your mind at ease. And we're just generally a great place to be. So there's lots going on. I mentioned earlier the Peak District. So we have the city centre, so you've got everything you want from the city. And then about 15 minutes drive outside of campus, you can access the Peak District National Park, which is an area of natural beauty. So you can go hiking, mountain biking, climbing. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast, Sheffield is a really good fit for you. We're also a very sporty city. So we are home to the world's oldest football club, but actually we also have a really wide range. I think at the last count, there was something like 80 different sports that you can participate in at the university, either at competitive level or just for fun. So whatever sport you're interested in, you'll be able to find that at Sheffield. We also have lots of cultural things going on. So there's some fantastic museums, exhibitions, a great music scene, and every year we have Tramline's Music Festival, which runs in Sheffield. That we were really pleased to see it back this year after a pause for COVID last year. And generally just a great place to meet with all of your friends that you'll meet from all over the world. There's lots of independent restaurants, bars, coffee shops, so you'll never be short of anything to do. Now, we know that coming overseas is a massive investment. So we want to make sure that we're supporting our students before they arrive, when they arrive, and after they arrive. So here's a few bits of information that might be useful for you if you're thinking about coming over from Colombia. So in terms of the entry requirements, we typically look for about 3.8 from your degree in Colombia with an English qualification as well to go with that. And as Carolina mentioned, we do have a convenio with Colfuturo, and we offer a 20% discount to students who are successful in getting funding from Colfuturo. Plus we have 2 extra £7,000 Colfuturo scholarships. So each year we, from the list of students we get from Colfuturo, we will choose the best 2 and they will get an additional £7,000. So that's in addition to the 20%. So it's a really good scholarship. Now, if you're not successful in getting funding from Colfuturo, we do have our own becas propias at the university, and we have 150 scholarships, which are worth 25% of the tuition fee. So it's worth being aware of those just in case you don't get funding from Colfuturo. So Irais, I'd like to ask you now to talk a little bit about your experiences of Sheffield and the UK, and maybe a little bit about career support, because I know that's something that you've found particularly useful while you've been here, but please take it away.
Gracias. Hola, yo soy Iraís Baizabal, yo soy de México. Yo en México estudié ingeniería química y vine a Sheffield a estudiar una maestría en administración de negocios. Llegué el año pasado, así que bueno, llegué a la mitad de la pandemia, pero la verdad es que mi experiencia ha sido muy grata aquí en la universidad y en la ciudad. Yo tengo una beca por parte de Sheffield y tengo uno como de estos paquetes que acaba de mencionar Ruth. Trabajé también con algo parecido, un apoyo parecido a Colfuturo en México. Y bueno, este como paquete de beca y apoyo financiero que tuve, la verdad es que es lo que hizo posible que viniera, porque al final para mí financieramente resultó muy bien, la mejor opción que tuve entre las universidades. Eh, y bueno, hablando un poquito de la universidad, creo que todo lo que fue diciendo Ruth, yo decía, sí, sí es cierto, sí, sí es cierto, como que sí pasa. Porque creo que, o por lo menos en mi experiencia, la universidad y la ciudad es súper amigable, es algo que a mí me ha sorprendido mucho. La gente es como muy sonriente y muy amigable, muy approachable. Como que la comunidad internacional sí se ve, sí la notas. Son muy receptivos a la comunidad internacional y como dijo Ruth, inclusive mis profesores eran de todos lados, ¿no? Tenían profes que de Japón, de Pakistán, Canadá, Inglaterra, Alemania, o sea, y era una mezcla entre compañeros y profesores de acentos y palabras y de repente como que culturas, como que enriquece mucho la experiencia. Eh, También en términos de la ciudad, a mí lo que más me gustó fue que de verdad es muy verde la ciudad. Eh, en general no es muy ruidosa la ciudad, lo que a mí me gustó porque vengo de una gran ciudad en Puebla. Eh, Tiene todo lo que necesitas de una ciudad, pero tiene muchos espacios verdes pequeños y grandes donde te puedes solo sentar y leer un libro o estar con tus amigos, hacer un picnic, y eso a mí me recuperaba la paz mental después de los assessments y todo. Y sobre el apoyo de carreras que mencionó Ruth, eh, los recursos a los que tienes acceso como estudiante de la Universidad de Sheffield a mí me impresionaron mucho. Ni siquiera pude como seguir el paso de utilizar todos los recursos a los que tienes acceso. Tienes cuentas, ¿no? Cuentas para acceder bases de datos, periódicos, cursos, talleres de otras compañías, search engines para trabajos, por ejemplo, trabajos alrededor del mundo. Eh, y bueno, tienen una oficina también que te ayuda a practicar entrevistas, a revisar tu CV, pues para que tú puedas entender mejor el mercado eh, laboral. Inclusive la universidad tiene pues como una bolsa de trabajo, una página donde publican internships y part-time jobs y full-time jobs y todo. Entonces, bueno, en general mi experiencia ha sido muy grata, es una de las mejores decisiones que he tomado. Y bueno, si tienen cualquier pregunta, aquí estamos.
Perfect. Thank you, Irais. And I wonder if you could just, before we move on to questions and answers, maybe touch briefly upon your academic experience and how you feel that is different in the UK compared to Latin America.
Ok. Creo que mi experiencia, como dije, fue muy interesante en términos como de culturas y fue muy enriquecedora porque al final mi universidad en México, pues sí tenía era como de las más internacionales en el país, pero no a este nivel. De verdad me permitió como estar, pues trabajar con otras personas, ¿no? Conocer otras formas de trabajo, otras aproximaciones a cómo hacer las tareas. Y yo siento que en general aquí el sistema educativo como que te deja más solo y eso y te obliga como más a reflexionar sobre cómo haces las cosas. Entonces, para mí eso fue mucho crecimiento también. O sea, no solamente son como buenas clases o buenos maestros, sino que el mismo sistema te hace aprender más y poner más atención y incluso reflexionar que sí en tu liderazgo, en tu forma de trabajar como equipo. Entonces yo siento que crecí mucho, no solo por lo que aprendí como del libro de texto, porque, bueno, en nuestro caso ni siquiera era que usáramos un libro de texto, sino que los profesores te dan mucha información extra, pero también todo ese ambiente alrededor que enriquece como la experiencia académica.
Brilliant, thank you, Irais. It's always really interesting to hear that, you know, about how people find the differences between the UK and their own parts of the world. So thank you for sharing that. So we'd be really happy to open up for questions now, either for myself about the university or the UK or the processes, or for Irais. And while you're thinking about your questions, just wanted to let you know my email address is on the screen. You can also book a one-to-one private consultation via Zoom if you wanted to talk about your specific subject area in detail. And if you wanted more students to speak to, then you can scan this QR code and speak to our current students as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing this information with us, and also Irais for sharing your experience. And well, we received the first question from Laura. She's asking, are scholarships only for Master of Science or for PhD too?
So our convenio with Consultations is for master's students, but there are other options for PhD students. So we do have our own scholarships for PhD students. We usually have a convocatoria between around November and January time for PhD students, where we do provide university funding for PhD students around the world. It is very competitive, of course, but we would certainly recommend that you look into that and apply if you do find an appropriate PhD supervisor at Sheffield. We do also see some students from Colombia coming with funding from Consultations for PhDs. So it's also worth approaching them to see when their convocatorias are as well.
Thank you. Daniela is asking also, I think, about the scholarship. Does it include Masters of Engineering?
Yes. So our scholarships for Col Futuro and our becas propias would definitely be open for engineering students, yes. And we've got a wide range of different types of engineering as well.
Thank you. And Christian is asking, do you have PhD programs in mechanical computational engineering?
Yes, we do, yeah. So if you would like to either email me a bit more about your area of interest, I could send you some direct links to the research groups in those areas, and hopefully you can find an academic that way who could be a good match for you. Or you feel free to book a one-to-one if you wanted to talk through it in a bit more detail.
Okay, this is a question for both Ruth and Irais. Could you please give some recommendations to potential students regarding the application process? Maybe some tips or advice to have a better application, and from the university perspective, and also from Irais' experience applying to the university.
So shall I give the university perspective first, and then we'll hear Irais' student perspective? So
Yes,
from a
please.
university perspective, we would recommend that you know, essentially it's following the steps. There's no magic tips, but what we need when you apply is your academic documents, so your transcripts, your degree certificates, plus translations into English. We need 2 academic references. So we prefer academic references, you know, from tutors that have taught you, commenting on your suitability for the program. We also need your personal statement. And this is like a carta de motivación, where you're explaining why you want to do the program and what is it about this program that matches with your career aspirations, etc. We also need an English test. So essentially it's about ticking some boxes and, you know, providing some documents. And then the personal statement is really where we're getting to know you as a person. So I would also say double check whether or not there are any deadlines. Most courses don't have a deadline, but some of our more popular programs do have deadlines. So some of the courses within the management school, which is really popular, have certain staged deadlines. Computer science, data science, a few of the really popular programs do have deadlines, so it's worth just double checking and starting the process early to ensure that you're not missing any deadlines. And also it means that, you know, you can have plenty of time for your Col Futuro application and concentrating on that when their deadlines come around. Irais, have you got any tips from a student perspective?
Sí, yo diría que para mí, o mis recomendaciones serían tres. La primera es deadlines. No se confíen. Sí es seguir los pasos, pero a veces que el examen de inglés toma un mes, ¿no? Que en lo que lo agendas y todo. O que tal papel tienes que sacar del gobierno y 7 días, ¿no? Entonces, como lean las letras chiquitas de las convocatorias y planeen todo con tiempo para que puedan, ahorita están súper buen tiempo, para que empiecen a planear todo y tengan todo como las convocatorias. La segunda sería apliquen a todo. Yo apliqué a todo lo que me encontré y terminé con un muy buen paquete así de beca de universidad y financiamiento y todo. Y la verdad es que no lo hubiera armado si no fuera así. Y la tercera es, pues yo me uní a todo lo que me encontré, Facebook groups, WhatsApp chats, mexicanos, latinos, internacionales, y en todos esos grupos siempre había 1 o 2 tips que sacaba. Entonces, bueno, esos serían mis 3 tips.
Muchas gracias, Irais. And could you please, Ruth, remind us what's the requirement for the English test?
Yeah, so for most courses, we will look for an IELTS 6.5 with 6 in each component. So the majority of courses will ask for that. There might be 1 or 2 that have slightly higher requirements. We can, you know, our online sort of webpage for the program will give the specific requirements for each program, but most of them are 6.5 with 6 in IELTS. But we do accept other English tests as well, so things like TOEFL, IBT, and you know, there's a range of other different tests. So if people were wondering about a specific test, please let me know, and I can mention that as well.
All right, thank you. Christian is asking, after finishing a PhD, is it possible to continue working in the UK? And also, I would add, while you are studying, is it possible to work?
Yeah, so whilst you are studying, your student visa will allow you to work up to 20 hours a week during term time and up to 40 hours a week during vacation time. As a university, we tend to advise that you do a little bit less than that because we want your studies to be your primary focus, but your visa does allow you to work up to 20 hours a week during term time. After finishing, there is a new graduate route for visas, which means that master's students can stay in the UK for 2 years after graduation and PhD students for 3 years after graduation. So there is the possibility to continue working in the UK after you've graduated on the new graduate visa route. So that was just introduced again this summer. So we're really, really happy about that.
Thank you. And this is a question for Irais. ¿Cuánto tiempo de planeación recomiendas para todo el proceso que incluye la postulación a la universidad, a fuentes de financiación y a la visa?
Pues yo empecé mi planeación más o menos por estas fechas, septiembre, octubre. Entonces yo tenía mi carta de aceptación en diciembre por parte de la universidad. fue, la verdad, súper rápido la aplicación de la universidad y la aceptación. Me hicieron una entrevista y como a las 3 semanas ya tenía mi carta de aceptación. Y eso me dio oportunidad de que todo lo demás, becas de gobierno, que si Chevening, por ejemplo, que es una beca del gobierno de Reino Unido, Chevening es en noviembre, entonces como que me dio tiempo de aplicar a todo y como tener mejor. Hubo una convocatoria a la que apliqué 2 veces, porque en la primera el financiamiento me lo rechazaron porque uno de mis papeles no cumplía, pero como apliqué tan temprano, pude entrar a la segunda convocatoria y volví a aplicar y ya tuve el financiamiento en la segunda ronda.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Applying early takes a lot of the stress out. And it means that you've got time to correct things if they go wrong. And yeah, it's much less stressful. So our applications typically open in September for the following September. So for students who are applying for September 2022, we'd recommend you're doing the right thing. You're starting to think about the process now. And then over the next month or two, start gathering your documents and getting them submitted, and that'll give you plenty of time. We have actually had a question about, can you apply without having your English certificate already? And yes, you can. So you will need an English certificate, but you don't necessarily need it at the point of application, because we're able to give you what's called a conditional offer. So if you don't yet have your English, or if you haven't yet got your final mark in your degree, you apply with what you've got, and we would give you a conditional offer saying, okay, we will give you an offer if you get 6.5 in your IELTS. And that way it allows you to start the process earlier before you take your English courses. It's also worth saying that we do have English courses available at the university that you can take in the summer before you start your master's program, but these do have an additional cost. So if you're able to take your English certificate in Colombia, then that's probably going to work out cheaper for you.
Thank you. Thank you for the advice. Well, I think they were all the questions we received. So to finish, me gustaría invitarlos a que si tienen dudas acerca del programa Crédito Beca, pueden unirse a nuestras sesiones informativas el primer viernes de cada mes a las 8 de la mañana y el segundo sábado de cada mes a las 9:30 por nuestra página web colfuturo.org. Y también, nuevamente, este evento hace parte de una serie de eventos que estamos teniendo durante el mes de agosto, todos los días, de lunes a viernes a las 10 de la mañana, en los cuales invitamos universidades que tienen convenio con Colfuturo para que compartan sus oportunidades, su oferta académica y puedan preguntar las dudas que tengan. Por último, esta sesión está siendo grabada y va a ser enviada a sus correos. También va a estar disponible en nuestro canal de YouTube. Y bueno, muchas gracias por haberse conectado, por haber enviado sus preguntas. Esperamos que se sigan conectando a todos los webinars de Colfuturo. Muchas gracias, Iraís, por haber compartido tu experiencia con nosotros. And thank you so much, Ruth, for the information and for joining this session.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and buena suerte with your applications for Colfuturo.
Bye.
Bye, gracias. Bye.